pop up.
Brings it
Oh,
back
look what
one
there's there.
time. Facebook
Speaking
always bringing back memories you
relationships.
don't want to
Yep.
recall. Why do they do that? They really should consider what your relationship status is and then
share
remind you of things based on that.
I don't need to see all the
Well, they
people
just want to remind you how far you've come.
Yes.
You know?
since prison. Oh, there's some good memories.
Oh, goodness. Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Thanks so much for being here with us on the Today in AZ After Show. Mitch Carr is here. I'm Rachel Cole, Jimmy Q, Vanessa Ramirez, of course. And we are talking about what attracts you to someone else.
Relationship advice.
Relationship, Russell's in the comment. Oh, not yet. Okay.
I don't know about advice.
Is Russell still single?
Down to Russell saying he's single.
We're not giving you advice because we're not experts. We're just sharing our opinions.
Oh, I am an
and our
expert.
thoughts.
I am an
This is
expert.
personal opinion today. You know, yesterday we talked about creepy exes and things that they've done or that you've done with them. And today it's a little bit of the opposite. So it should be a little bit more enlightening. Which
I'm
is
as big of
great.
an expert as anybody at this. I did 50 years of hardcore dating.
Hard labor?
And,
Hardcore dating.
So you're classified
And
as an expert?
I used to tell girls, and this is transparent. I said, look, all my friends talk to me. I used to be a player. I was a big player. So I will let you know if you're getting played. But most of the time, they don't listen to you. They're like,
Oh,
oh,
okay,
he's just
you're gonna tell
busy.
friends,
He's just
okay.
that. I said, no, he's playing
just
you.
not that into you.
He's not into you. And
No, that
take
movie was terrible though because at the end he really is into her, and it's like that defeats the purpose of the movie.
Right, like the breakup. They're like, why didn't Jen Aniston and Vince Vaughn get together? Because it's called The Breakup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
That's what's
movie
supposed
actually,
to happen.
like they run into each other on the sidewalk
that was
like a year
it,
later, and
yeah.
it's somewhat awkward, but like pleasant. And like, oh, I've got good memories, but this is probably for the best. That was realistic. At the end of he's just not that into you. Oh, he really is just into her.
Yeah.
You're right.
They
He
messed
just didn't
that
know
up.
how to do it. He just realized it later. That's why.
Right. Well, that's what
Most-
everybody's waiting for is for them to figure out that they're actually into you. But it doesn't
Most people can't go backwards unless you're totally desperate and you're just striking out right and left.
Striking
and
out,
then,
yeah. Going back into the recycle
Oh, I might
bin.
as well
Nothing
go
wrong with
back.
that, but
Yeah.
it does happen. We're here to tell you not to believe in fairy tales, so enjoy that for a
Make
second.
your own fairy tale.
Make your own fairy
Yeah.
tale. Love at first sight does not exist. This isn't according to us. Psychologists say that electric feeling you get within seconds of meeting someone before instantly falling for them is just
a
very
very strong
attraction.
Mm-hmm.
Experts say real love, for example, is being able to tolerate someone's flaws, which comes later down the line. That word tolerate, is that not the most applicable to any
Yes.
relationship?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd like to see what the loser that wrote that day in life is like.
That
really,
loser
seriously.
psychologist with the
Yeah,
degree.
see what his freaking relationships are like.
No, he's married. Are you
I'm-
kidding me?
I'm tolerating
He's being tolated
it,
every
yeah.
day.
That
He
is
knows it.
Exactly. Poor lady's got to
So
tolerate him.
this morning we're asking you what attracts you to someone. So let us know in the comment section. We've got a lot of you weighing in already, so we appreciate that on this fun Friday. Fred says, I fall in love once a day. Ha 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 ha.
Andy Marshall says, good morals, confidence, loyalty. It also helps that she's an absolute smoke show. Yes, it does.
Okay.
Oh, smoke show.
Whoa.
I do like that terminology for a woman versus saying like she's hot. Smoke show. It's
show.
nice. Feels like she's got something else going for her.
When I was in the
besides
8th grade, we
attraction.
used to call a hot girl luscious. She's luscious.
Luscious.
That's a bit throwback. I'd find that a little creepy.
Really
today.
old school.
I
yeah.
always say that though, at the beginning stages of a relationship, you're infatuated with them. Like everything's great and it's amazing, and
you
then
got the
I
rose
think
glasses.
like after 3 months, it starts to wear off, and then you have to realize like, okay, can I tolerate this person? Am I willing to work at it? You know, because from what I hear all the time is relationships take work, like marriages, right?
Yes,
It takes
yes.
a lot of work to marry someone and stay in that marriage for a long time, and so it's not easy. You know what I mean? You're a newlywed, so are you.
I'm infatuated still.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, you guys are cute.
Talk to me in
still.
20 years, you know, you too. You know,
when
it's
you
all
find
cool.
the right
My
person,
wife
I
is
think-
watching right now. Hi, I love you.
When you find the right person, though, and you say I do, and you exchange your vows, and you commit your lives to each other, I don't think it wears off as it does when you are in the dating phases and stages and things of that nature, where you are learning about that person. Once you've decided, you know, I want to marry this person, you kind of, the tolerance kind of fades away, and now you're partners, and you're figuring out how to tolerate life and other people in it together. There's a comedian out there, and I can't recall his name at the moment, but he says, People who dislike, we'll put as a kinder word, dislike the same things together will actually grow a pretty cohesive bond as well, versus you have to have the same things in common. You know,
Bob
My
Saget?
guy and I, we like to hike. Now, we like to do it differently, though. He likes to enjoy the scenes and get drone video and do fun stuff. I'm like, let's go and let's burn a calorie. And so we're doing it from two different perspectives. So while we both like the same thing, it's a totally different approach.
Henceforth, why nobody wants to hike with you.
Right, I know. So I hike alone. I stand alone. No,
We've
he
all
goes.
been in relationships where we've been together for a year or longer, and then you realize maybe the next year, the following year, I don't want to be with this person anymore. Like, it's not working out. We're not getting along.
Can't tolerate it.
Yeah, you can't tolerate each
Cannot
other
tolerate
anymore.
her.
You know, so that's the hard part about relationships, because sometimes it takes a while to figure out that you don't want to be with them.
And every relationship, it's a business relationship. A marriage, it is. Your girls are going out with a guy, not because he's a loser, because he's got a good job. Doesn't have to be a billionaire, doesn't have to be a gold digger, and a guy too. You're looking for a girl that, I want a smart girl, because what if I have kids? I'm going to pass these genes on. I don't want dumb kids. I want somebody with a work ethic. What if you go, the worst thing I think like a guy can do is you go to a girl's house and her house is messy. Or it smells. I went to
No,
one,
can't deal
man.
with smells.
Yeah.
If,
No.
if,
Okay,
if
well,
a girl's smelly, no.
Hold the smelly
Maybe she's
thought.
not smelly, but her,
We want to talk more
Cat
about this,
litter.
but we do have to show you the In Case You Missed It segment today, because our very own Paul Gerke has been in Nashville all morning long showing us the sights. There he is now. Are you ready for it?
They're with Cam Cox.
Damn!
They're hanging out,
Those
you
are two
guys.
single guys.
Right in front of the world famous Tootsies. That's that big purple building behind them right
Those guys they're getting into some trouble. They're tearing it up.
Okay, we're
I thought we were
tolerating
doing the In
you guys
Case You
right
Missed
now.
It. I thought they cut a bunch of video of our stuff. You
That was supposed to
What's
happen.
up, guys?
don't
How's
have
it
the
going this
video?
morning?
We're not going to show the people the stuff?
That's okay.
We're just
You're gonna
showing you just a
intro it.
second.
You're going to tell us
How's it
this.
going this morning, guys?
We're doing great, Cam.
Oh, all right, fine. We got to talk about the draft. You guys are blathering on and on about relationships. The only relationships we care about in Nashville are the Cardinals fans' relationships with Kyler Murray.
Oh, ain't that the
because I
truth?
think the fan base is split.
Oh, you know what? It was crazy. The reaction on social media was a little different last night than I expected. The reaction here from Cardinal fans, the stage is not too far down here. A lot of Cardinals fans here. The reaction from Cardinals fans here, a lot of excitement. They went crazy.
Well,
they
they
went
flew
nuts.
out to Nashville to see them draft Kyler Murray. Of course they're
Of course,
excited.
they're going to be excitement. The reaction in Glendale, the video that we saw late last night, was through the roof too as well.
Dude, you see the reaction from some of the other fan bases, like the Raiders and the Giants, when they pulled the shenanigans they pulled? Guys looking around like, what? Did that just happen?
I thought some Raider fans were going to cry.
Yeah, no kidding.
But the
They had a lot
reaction
to
on
cry
social
about.
media was kind of negative. A lot of Cardinal fans kind of mixed. A lot of them backed Josh Rosen too as well. So they're just split. They don't know if Murray's going to pan out, even though he was one of the most exciting players in college football. But the biggest fear that I get amongst Cardinal fans, at least most that tweeted at me or sent me messages throughout the night, they think Josh Rosen is going to go on to be the next big thing now. What
He's
if
going to haunt
now?
the Cardinals.
Yeah, he
He's
could
gonna
haunt them
Cardinals
for
forever.
years and years.
Watch what happens if the Patriots decide to flip their second or third round pick.
Yeah.
And he ends up going over there and supplanting Tom Brady in a couple years and wins a few Super
It was
Bowls.
very tough at the end of the night last night when the Cardinals took N'Keal Harry. When the Patriots took
Yeah.
N'Keal Harry with the 32nd pick, last pick in the first round. I had on good word that if N'Keal Harry would have fell to the Cardinals in the second round with that 33rd pick, he told me at the airport he was 100% sure the Cardinals were going to take him.
We actually have an expert on the NFL draft on the line right now, an exclusive phone call with somebody that you guys at Watch 12 News might know very well. Bruce Cooper, you're on live television.
Yes. How you doing this morning, guys? You okay?
It's going great, Coop. I'm going to need you in 30 minutes or less to give us your take on the Cardinals drafting Kyler Murray.
Preferably 30 seconds, Coop.
Well, first of all, guys, it's the greatest move the Cardinals could have made. If they would have picked anyone not named Kyler Murray, it would have set the organization back at least 10 years. The fact that they named it Kyler Murray, they'll be in the Super Bowl within 3 years. I said that
We're getting so much microphone feedback right now on Coop.
yesterday during the Cardinals draft proceedings, the local media there.
Is he still talking?
He is. I hear it.
Look, I'm talking, guys. I need you to hush. You need to hear these things. Can you hear me? Look, let me tell you this. Our local media, some of our local media are hung up on Kyler Murray's height. They're convinced he won't be successful.
I don't know how to get out of this segment. Do we just wait till he runs out of gas?
No.
Guys, you know what? You know how I answer that? Check this out.
Coop, hold on, Coop. We got to let you go, unfortunately.
Coop, I love you. Thanks for stopping
We
by.
got to
the
let
after
you
show.
go. We're going to get you more later.
First time he's ever been here. All right, see you later, Coop. Thanks for stopping by.
I know he had a lot more to say.
right.
I know, but now the question is, what do they do with Josh Rosen? That's the biggest thing moving forward.
They can't hold on to him. I'm surprised he's waking up on the roster this morning.
By the way, if you're just now waking up, he did unfollow the Cardinals on Instagram and Twitter.
That's what your exes do, right, guys? You talk about relationships. When you're done with somebody, they unfollow you on all the social media, and that's it, right? That means it's done.
I think that means it's done, right?
Too.
Yeah, once they block you, you're in trouble.
Mitch Carr brought that
blocking's the
information
big
to the
If
show.
Josh Rosen
first
blocked
thing
the
this
Cardinals,
morning. And it's not good.
Yeah.
He's about ready to cloak the Cardinals.
You know, it's fitting, though, that he's still on this roster, because I had heard leading up to the draft they weren't going to get better than a third-round pick for him. And how it fell last night, it shows you that there wasn't a lot of interest in giving up a first-round pick for Rosen. There's probably not a lot of interest in them getting a second-round pick for Rosen. The best they could probably do right now is a third-round pick for him. Teams are not going to give up the farm for Josh Rosen. He's just too unproven as a starter right now.
we'll see what happens. In the meantime, I don't know if you guys watched Today in AZ this morning, but we were live out here on Broadway all morning long for Where's Gerke Going, the first stop on this tour, live in Nashville. We were at the Grand Ole Opry. We were at the Country Music Hall of Fame Museum.
You were
we had some
everywhere.
hot chicken catered out here for some of those Cardinals fans to sink their teeth into.
That woke me up. The chicken
That's
woke
too
me
hot.
up. We didn't have any water out here.
I tried to
Very
interview those
spicy.
cats. We had 3 dudes down there in Cardinal shirts. They were barely awake, barely alive to begin with. But once they bit into the hot chicken, I was supposed to get their reaction and kind of mosey up to them and be like, hey, what do you think of it? And every guy was like,
It's fine. It's good. Thanks for having us.
hot. Great interview. Fantastic. We should have thought ahead. Maybe brought him some milk or something.
Yeah, something.
You were serious when you said, I wasn't too sure if you were serious when you said those guys had been out from the night before, but as soon as they bit into that chicken and you could see the looks on their faces and they weren't saying anything, I believed everything you had to say about them.
Downtown Nashville's kind of crazy. Like every single bar down here is, you can't really see, a lot of these are like honky tonks and little 1-story bars. But even this one, photographer Nick, pan up, there's a second story to this joint here. And that, I think, is the outlier. Most of these places are 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 stories tall. We ate at a diner last night that is a 6-story diner. They just like packing people into these joints. And with the draft down here and over 200,000 people stopping by, I mean, they're full. I mean, the 6 stories of these bars were packed last night.
The more impressive thing about this city is who cleaned up this street.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can describe to you the scene that was this street last night, but there was trash bottles everywhere. And when we got up here bright and early this morning, this street was entirely clean. So shout out to whoever cleaned up all the trash.
A lot of power washing, man.
A lot of it. A lot of it.
You know, they had about 200,000
Any
plus
other questions
people
about Where's Gerke Going,
out there.
guys?
No, we don't want
Yeah.
any more questions. We want to go right to your dancing bloopers so we can talk the talk right after we see
Oh,
you
wait,
walk
what?
the walk.
No, you're not running that. No, don't run that.
No, we're running them right now, Paul.
Lloyd
Watching you
Christmas.
right now, looking like Lloyd Christmas out of Dumb and Dumber.
He's the only one
Where did
dressed
you get
like that.
outfit, by the way?
Well,
The fringe
We
is
had to rent
priceless.
it.
So's
We
the
had to
fits
rent
in.
it.
He doesn't even stand
so
out.
Our
He's just
executive
like
producer
one of them
Jeff
people
set
from
me up
Nashville.
with a place that rented costumes and stuff, and we tried to find the most sequined and tasseled outfit that I could fit my fat thighs into, and that's what we came up with. When we went to the Wild Horse Saloon to do the line dancing lesson, as you noticed in the video, I'm the only guy that's dressed like
Only
that.
one. Only
Everybody
one.
else is
Everybody was
wearing
wearing
civilian
normal clothes.
And
You
we
stood out like a sore
asked
thumb.
the instructor afterwards. We said, hey, do people normally come in looking like this? And she kind of gave me the down up. You know how girls will sometimes give you the down up? Usually it's a good thing when a girl gives you the down up. Not in this case.
This was not a good
No,
thing,
this was
was
a down up like, who the hell do you think you are? She goes, only the professionals come in looking like this. And she had watched me dance for the last half an hour, so she knew I wasn't one of those. It was something.
Solid outfit.
You think I pulled it off, though? I thought I looked okay.
Be honest, guys. You think
You pulled it
the
off.
outfit?
Heck
Be
yeah.
honest.
Listen, wait, 10 for 10 on outfit.
Oh my
but
gosh, yeah.
the girl, you know, the instructor, she couldn't even rank him on a scale of 1 to 10 based on his steps. But you know what? I feel like you held your own. I've done a little bit of line dancing in my day, and I think you did pretty well. You saw him doing the moves.
I thought he was great. I used to live in
thank you very
Texas. I
much.
couldn't even tell.
Yeah, like I don't want to
You
say it
look
was
like a
good,
native.
but I want to say it was
I
way
posted
better than
that
anything I
outtake
was
video
ever
to
going to
social
do.
media, by the way. Yeah, it's got the audio on it. So a lot of times when you're seeing me stepping on my own feet, you'll hear me apologizing to the people that I was kicking in front of me and stuff like that. So go check that out. if
So you
haven't seen
don't
it
have
already.
2 left feet anymore?
Not anymore. Hey, real quick, guys. Here, hold my microphone.
Oh, what am I
hold
doing?
this.
Where you
Oh,
going?
I got something to show you.
Oh, snap. He's got gifts.
I'm nervous.
All sorts of
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
What you got here?
So I grabbed a swag
drop the bag.
So we're doing giveaways as part of this Where's Gurkey Going promotion. But here's the thing: the contest ends at 8 a.m. Arizona time, which is like 10 minutes from now. So because I'm an idiot, I forgot to mention it in the show till this point. So all you have to do is go to my Facebook page right now, Paul Gurkey, and at the very top there's a post that's pinned and it has pictures of the stuff that's in this bag. Just comment on it. Say Paul's an idiot, he looks stupid in his cowboy costume, whatever you want to comment on, and that enters for your chance to win. And at 8 o'clock, our social media people are going to get in there and they're going to start messaging 12 randomly selected winners. We got some really cool stuff too, Kim. Here, hold this microphone again. I'm going to pull out the swag. We got this. It's a Grand Ole Opry harmonica.
This is actually fairly
That's
sweet.
pretty dope, right? Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's got a little protective cover on there,
at
but you
that.
can see it's a Grand Ole Opry, right?
Beautiful.
What else we got? Let's get into the bag. We got, oh, thanks, Jeff. Appreciate that. We got a whole bunch of Nashville bottle openers. They all have different designs on them. Who doesn't need to open bottles, right? And we got some Nashville keys to the city. It's got the skyline on there. That's pretty sweet. Anyway, we got 12 different items we're giving away, but the contest ends at 8 o'clock, so go comment on that
fellas.
thing right now.
You know what?
I
You
didn't
guys
get anything
rock
for you
live
guys
team
except for some
coverage
old hot
from
chicken.
Draft City. We appreciate the coverage this morning. The boys being up early for us. Go to Paul's Facebook page to get in on the souvenirs from Music City. Thanks, fellas. We're going to go back to the conversation that we were talking about earlier, which what attracts you to
Well, the question is,
someone?
you know,
Is it-
is
Do
there
you
love
believe-
at first sight?
Yeah,
Does
do you
it
believe
exist?
at love at first sight?
Do
You know,
you?
a couple people in here said yes, that they do. First of all, David said love at first sight. Tacos.
Tacos.
Yeah.
I fell in love with Kim. Love at first sight.
Yeah?
That worked. Yeah. You know what I always say. This is great advice to people. Make a list of what you want in a partner.
Oh, I got that right
And
here.
you go.
You wanna hear it?
Go as specific as you want. I don't care how much money they make, what kind of car they drive. Now you have to match that list. If you do not,
Here's my
then you
list.
need to take it off the
Oh my
list.
gosh, is it
Oh,
long?
she really does
Good.
have a
Now,
list.
now
I have
I
a
got a
list at
question.
home.
Do you
It's got
have everything on that
30
list?
on it.
Do you match
Wow.
everything on that list?
Listen, I would never be with a partner and ask them for something I don't expect
That's
for
it.
myself to
That's
bring
it.
to the table.
Beautiful. That's
So,
it.
Yeah,
if you
listen
want
to
a
this.
fitness instructor, you better be.
You
good
better pump iron,
yep.
boy.
Danielle said, my husband claims it was love at first sight. We met at age 12, been together 25 years, married 18.
That's illegal, I think.
No,
They
it's-
met.
yeah, I love the nice love stories, and you know what? If it was love at first sight for you, then who cares what psychologists say? If they say there's no such thing, that's fine. But you know what? If you feel it between you and your partner, that's great.
This is another good one. Lisa Carter.
Yes, that one.
It does exist. I met a man when he left. And when he left, I almost cried thinking I'll never see him again. He repaired my 18-wheeler, so he had my number. He called and asked me out, and he said, I fell in love with you when I met you, and we are together 12 years later.
Oh my
Lisa Carter, thank you for
Lisa
that.
drives an 18-wheeler.
That-
about
hey,
that? Yeah.
I like that.
That's amazing.
that is so awesome.
That's great.
I know when I saw my wife, I saw her, we worked at the same TV station, and I saw her the day she started, and I just saw her walking through the parking lot, and I was like,
Done.
who's that?
Yeah, he's always all like
Who's
rubbernecking it.
Yeah.
But I was
Hello.
thinking that love at first sight has to be, by definition, very shallow. So, you know, I knew I liked what she looked like, and then I got
Sure.
to know her, and it really, in all seriousness, I don't know if you can call it love at first sight, but it was like 5 minutes after she opened her mouth, and I was like, okay, I like all of you.
You know what?
I like
Not just the way you look.
You have to be attracted to the person somewhat. I mean, how many
definitely.
times have someone's guy said, look, I got the best guy for you, I got the best girl for you, you got to meet it, but if that spark isn't
have-
there,
yeah,
you've
initial
got to
attraction.
be
True.
physically somewhat attracted. I'm not saying you have to look a certain way, but you have to be attracted to that
No,
person.
but you have to be, yeah, you have
Henceforth,
to be
Mitch,
attracted. And that
me,
could develop, you know, yeah.
there was a
develop.
spark that, oh.
I watched a cute movie on Netflix last night. I think it's called The Perfect Guy or The Stand-In or something like that. And the kid had his eyes set on going to Yale, and then he had his eyes set on this girl that was the most popular girl in school, and she was amazing and beautiful and whatever. So he did all these things. He maneuvered his way around to get into Yale to date the girl, and when it actually happened, he was like had no connection with her.
Disappointed.
Yeah,
right?
he was like, wow, and he had made friends with this other girl that was, you know, a little nerdy, little quirky, whatever.
Sure.
And then in the
Little
end, of
bit
course, they ended up
opposite.
together because he was like, I thought I wanted her because she was the perfect image of what I was
What
looking
you think you
for.
want.
Yeah. He's like, but then I fell in love with this girl who was just fun and we had a great time together and everything was amazing.
That's Hollywood.
Granted, that's a movie, but I
Still
feel
gotta
like
be
that does
attracted to 'em.
happen.
But it does happen because,
Yeah.
and I think maybe women maybe are a little bit more guilty of this than men, but we draw up this idea in our head of Prince Charming and, you know, what the father of your child looks like,
Yeah.
what your husband looks like, what kind of car you guys are traveling in to go on a road trip. All this like fairy tale stuff.
Yeah.
And you have this tunnel vision of what you think you want, and you're spending your whole life trying to find it, and it never comes, and it's just this weird idea that really doesn't exist, and then you find this guy that maybe is not what you were looking for your perfect picture, but actually fits a lot better, and your dreams kind of spark from there.
You know, these comments that are coming in from our viewers are, I
love
think
Kale.
the dating world now is completely
Yeah,
different.
put your age down. I
than
want to
it
know
was
what your
back
age
then.
is on this. Just say, hey.
Because Karen said the same thing. Yes, I do. I met my husband at the age of 14. We got married when I was 15. We've been married for 38 years, and we are in love today as the day we met. So I think back in the day, it was a little bit easier to fall in love at first sight, right? Because you didn't have as many options. You didn't know how to reach someone on Facebook or a dating app. You just met this one person, you build this connection with them, and then of course you fall in love. But I think now people think there's so many options and the grass is greener on the other side. And so nobody puts the time in anymore to get to know someone to see if you really want to be with them. Like it's
I
just
think
like,
it's the same.
Next,
Love it.
next.
No.
Swipe.
I don't think it's changed, even with the computers. I think
No.
go back 2,000 years when you were at the river and all of a sudden you saw the other what tribe is she from? Or she was saying, who's that guy with the big deer leg, huh? It hasn't changed. We think the
But
same
they
way.
didn't have as many options.
Yeah,
They
no,
were-
that's the problem. Is that
Yeah.
there's a lot of first dates where like girl or guy goes to the bathroom and they're looking at the dating app in the bathroom.
Oh, that's
sort of
so
like
awful.
this isn't gonna work out. I'm looking at this,
Yeah.
and then
What's plan B?
you know, ladies, you got that friend that's gonna call you and say she's got an emergency. and
Gotta
you're gonna
go.
And,
What?
but if it's a good date, you're like, oh, so you're good? Okay, good. And if it's a bad date, you're like, oh, I gotta go? Okay.
I've said this a million times. A dating tip for everyone: do not go to dinner. Do not go to a movie. Go for a drink, because a drink is a short commitment,
Short
right?
commitment,
So
yes.
if it works, then you continue on. Hey, let's have another drink, or let's go
exactly
to
right.
dinner. But if it doesn't work, you have one drink. You're done. You're out of there. You're moving on.
And do you know what I say? Talk religion. Talk politics. You got to know you're dating.
I'll
Don't
do
lie
that
to
better.
each other.
Forget the
Put the
conversation
truth.
about the controversial topics. Do something that'll tell you whether or not which way they go. So
Talk about your hiking experience.
talk about something you like to do.
No, your hiking experience with the guy that got sick.
Jimmy.
Hey, no, this is great.
No, this is true.
great because
This is called Don't Lie.
This guy never called me again. So we meet or whatever. We have a little bit of conversation. Fine, he says, I'd like to do something. I said, well, why don't we go hiking? Oh yeah, no, I'm an avid mountain biker and all this stuff. And I'm
liar.
like, okay, great, cool, perfect. Like we're outdoorsy. That's amazing. So we meet at an unknown location I won't mention, and we hike. And like I am going at a slower pace on purpose, right? I'm trying to be cool, okay? So we get up there and we're all like, really close to the peak. And this guy turns around and
Rose up.
Oh no.
throws up. And I go, is this a bad time I don't kiss on the first date? It's a bad time to mention that.
Wait,
He's
so
throwing up and he's like, you can go ahead. And I go,
Because
no,
he lies.
I
It
go,
doesn't work out.
you psycho hiked him into puking, and then you made a joke at his
Psycho
expense.
hiked him.
No
Made him-
wonder.
yeah.
No,
they
he
make
should have
him
been
feel better.
honest, and he should have been, you know what, I don't hike.
okay.
That's like being like, sorry, you can't hack it, bro.
Well, what I did was he goes, go ahead. And I said, no. I said, are you okay? Like, we can turn around and go back down. And he's like, oh, no, I'm fine. I just had a big cup of coffee before we hiked. And it's like, okay, well, that's not really a
That'll make
sports
you-
drink.
I drink
So then
coffee all the
how
time
did
before hikes.
the date end? When
Well,
you
so
guys
then
got
after
back
that, he's
down?
like, oh, would you like to go to brunch? And so then I'm like, yeah, you must be hungry.
Joke number 2 at his expense.
I didn't say that to him, but I should
Now
have.
we know why
I
he didn't
didn't
call you
say
back.
I didn't say that to him.
No, he's not gonna call you back because dude's embarrassed.
I didn't
That's
say that
why.
to him. He was fine. He was perfectly
He's
fine.
like, I puked. He's like, I puked in front of her, and then she made fun of me. Yeah, let me call her back.
Be yourself. And
Be
if they don't
yourself.
like you, move
Yep,
on. And guess
exactly.
what? I got the bee's knees of guys right now, and he's the
Bee's
best person out there.
Yep.
So you know what? And he hikes every day, even if he don't want to.
Heck yeah, and move on. If it's
He's
not
never
right,
barfed on the
don't be a clinger. Don't cling on to crap that's not working. Just move on. Go to the next person.
Yeah.
Don't waste your time or your precious life.
That
I'm
lousy
here,
athlete
but
did me a
I think
favor.
this thing here means it's time to shut up, doesn't it?
No.
No?
We tape the cut-ins. We don't have to stop
Yeah,
talking.
but we have time for a few more
about?
comments
They're
here.
not supposed to
Nick,
know
thank
that.
you. You're a doll. Okay, so I think we might even make some love connections on here. We have people
Oh.
sharing their ages and their likes.
Yeah, what are the ages? I want to know who's. What age are we talking here?
Sierra is 35. She said, I'm single, I'm 35. I love long walks in the desert, and I'm obsessed with tacos and pizza.
Russell.
She and I would be a great pair.
43. Get their name. I want to see their ages. I want to get their ages.
Mike is 56. I used to be young and good looking, and then I believe Sarah replied back to him, "You're still good looking."
You know what? This is nice, and this is exactly what we want to be focusing on.
connection.
We want to be focusing on the nice things that can come about from social media and how we can all build connections from these. These are nice conversations, and you guys don't realize. I mean, a lot of you are regular visitors to the after show.
Yeah.
There's no reason why we can't all communicate and have these conversations and have you guys interact. This is way cool. Let's see what Russell. Oh, take a date to Monk's. Buy them the big salad with tomatoes like volleyballs.
Lacey Miller, is this a singles connection site?
Sometimes,
Yes, it can be.
Sometimes I feel like it is because we have people telling us they're single. We do talk a lot about dating, but it's a hot topic. People love talking about dating, marriage,
yeah.
cheating.
Well, and
Like,
And if you're
it affects
married.
everyone.
Yeah.
yeah.
Whether
That's what we
Encourage
do.
you to send each other messages that are nice.
There's two things we worry about, right? Just
So-
food and dating our whole lives.
Based on our comments, there are people that do believe love at first sight,
Yeah.
first sight. So that's amazing. I just think it's a little bit harder to do now.
I think
Yeah.
you're right. Even though Jimmy disagrees respectfully, I think you're
Yeah.
right. It's people, and Paul has said it before, people are more so accommodations now. Like you can find a person the same way you can order a pizza.
Yeah.
And it's sad because it's like if you're not interested, then you just kick them to the curb and you have zero remorse about it. And it's just like,
Oh, you know what
on
else
to
a
the next
big
one.
problem is?
Both parties usually could
Yeah.
care less, you know?
My grandma used to say, if the milk is free, why buy the cow? And that's, girls need to close it up now these days.
Well, I mean,
Seriously.
really, though.
I know it's
Lock it down.
controversial, but if guys have too much of an option, we can't handle it. We're idiots. If there's too many girls out there giving the milk up for free,
Sure.
then why should I settle
laugh,
down?
but
no,
it's
it's true,
true.
man.
I mean,
it's crazy out there, and I see girls that just think, I don't know, he won't call me back.
And it's
It just
hard.
depends.
You
on
slept
the
over last
connection.
Saturday.
I don't because I've had girlfriends
You girls
tell me
don't. I know that.
that
They lock
they
it
have
down.
hooked up with someone on the first date and they ended up staying with them for a very long time. So I think it generally just depends on the connection that you make.
It's
with
not.
someone.
It's not a
Yeah.
rule of thumb that
No.
it says it'll have some sort of result if you do it. I mean, it could lead to lifelong happiness. You never know. But what you're saying is
Yeah,
I mean,
telling
it is
you.
good to hold out.
Make the dude earn it.
you don't even know the person.
Yes.
That's the point.
Yeah, that too.
The point is, if you don't like that they're left and you're right, or you're right and they're left, but you already took your pants off.
Yep.
And good
Can't
luck with all
convince a
that.
guy to like you by sleeping with him.
And how dare you have a catfish down there?
Hell yeah! Jimmy said, "Is that a catfish in your pants? Or you just happy to see me?" If you missed "Where's Gherkin Going?"
Yeah,
that's
that
where
was a
that's from.
Predators
That's
reference.
maybe too much of an inside joke. I don't know.
No. Predators play at Bridgestone Arena. Paul was showing us that all morning long they have a tradition of throwing catfish out onto the ice. Why? We have no idea, other than the fact that he mentioned it in the package. So if you haven't seen it, you can go to 12news.com. That's where the reference comes from.
We have to share one more. Stephanie said, the night I met my husband, I was 23 and he was 22. The next morning, I told my parents I just met my husband. He told his parents I met my wife. They were engaged 1 month later. They've been married 26 years now, and they have 5 kids, and they're so happy. So, Stephanie, if you don't mind us asking, how old are you now? So,
Yeah, that is super romantic.
yeah.
I'm a.
This happened, you know, obviously back in the day.
Well, so
If
wait,
you have
they've been
5
married
kids.
26 years.
So
and
how long
he was
ago?
22.
Oh, yeah, so do the math.
So 26 years ago, right?
So 48.
So now they're in their late 40s
Okay.
with 5 kids.
Thanks
What is
for
it,
doing
April?
the math for me.
April says
I'm an
love at
awful
first sight
math
does
person,
exist.
though, so I probably forgot to carry the.
That's why we're on TV.
Oh, April fell in love with her brother's best friend when she was 12. 16 years later, and many failed relationships. I found him. We've been together 7 years.
Oh.
That's awesome. You know what? I always make fun of, tease my brothers. Like, you guys never help set me up with anyone. They're like, aren't you happy? And I'm like, yes.
This
thank
was
you.
the complete opposite of yesterday's, because yesterday's we got a bunch of like
Cheating.
questionable, like awful stories about exes. This one is people telling us lovely stories, and also people saying, "Hey, I'm single, and I kind of like your comments."
Well, you know
Stephanie's
what?
turning 50 this year.
Here,
Thanks, Stephanie.
Team 12
Jeff-
likes the optimism and the positivity. We want to get the positive conversations going. We don't need to harp on all the bad stuff.
Jeff
There's plenty
Hillerman
of
says,
that.
get a background check, credit score. Lori Johnson, I danced with my husband once. I knew I would marry him, and I did a year later. Samantha has a hots for Gherky.
Oh, yeah.
Lacey
There
Miller,
you
I
go.
agree with love at first sight. You have to talk too. Mike Shaw says guys are idiots. So true. Lacey says so true. Jimmy.
Speaking of, have you guys seen Married Married at First Sight. I think it's called Married at First
Oh,
Sight.
so that's one of your favorite
Yeah,
reality
so they
sort of
like
TV shows.
they partner these couples up that they think will do well together, and they literally meet at the altar, get married that day, and then they have to spend the next, I believe it's like 3 months together. And then at the end, they come and meet with them again, and they're like, hey, do you guys want to stay together or do you want to get a divorce? And it's actually really interesting.
it not
Most of the
legally
people on the
binding
show
marriage?
have said they will stay together, but then a couple months later ends up falling apart. But they just put you like in dating mode, fast forward, like high speed dating.
3 months
That is
isn't
so
enough
wild.
time.
To
You know,
get
you
to
got
know.
you got to move together. You got to change apartments together. You got to go buy furniture.
They make you
together.
move in
See,
together.
And how
Yeah.
funny
Yeah.
is that you're hearing from 4 different people who are in the same industry that requires you to basically and more than likely move every 2 years to a different city or a different job or a different state across the country sometimes. And it's like, how do you ask your partner, who maybe you're not married yet, and the expectation isn't there to just pack up and go, say, hey, look, this is the circumstance. Would you be cool with that? Because people outside of the business, and not just this one, but any particular company that requires travel, to uproot and leave. And,
This business will make you make decisions.
like hard ones.
Contracts up.
I mean,
you
your
wanna
wife had
stay.
to come out here with you, right?
Yeah, but like there was a contract when we were still in Richmond where hers was up and they were going to renew mine, and was she going to stick around? And so we've been doing this back and forth where one of us makes a sacrifice for the other. She's done it twice now for me because in Richmond
Amazing.
she stuck around and had a non-compete and still stuck around and ended up getting a job somewhere else. But she had to wait 6 months and not work, and she stuck around for me. And that was before we were married. So now she's followed
guys
me
are-
out to
That's
Arizona.
true love.
Well worth the
Steve,
wait.
Sticky
Mitch is a good
Steve.
guy.
God bless my wife, but like, I mean, this business will seriously make you make decisions like that. Like, I know when I left North Carolina the first time around, there was a girl I was kind of dating, and that was the end of that. Like,
Right.
we don't live in the same place anymore. My contract's up. I'm moving on. You're moving on, and
Yeah.
we just went our separate ways.
She's
Yeah.
on Tinder, you're on Bumble. Just like that.
It's just funny. It does. It requires sacrifice and compromise. And you know what? I mean, earlier we said tolerate, but I think it's more so based around that. Good relationships is a sacrifice, compromise, and conversation that
Yeah.
it takes with your partner to be able to come to some sort of solution that fits for both of you, even if it is just temporary.
I don't know. I'm still infatuated with my wife, so we've only been married. We've been
Since
together
October
for
1st.
We've been together for 3 months, so it's still like bliss. So I don't come to me for advice. I have no idea. I know the other one. I know the other side of what
Wait
guys
until
are
you
thinking.
move and buy furniture. You'll find some fights.
Well, that's the beautiful. When she moved into my house, I called Salvation Army
got
and
rid of all
I
his
got
stuff.
rid of everything. I don't care about that stuff.
Jimmy's better.
I
at
see,
marriage
and
than
I'm
I
the
am.
same way.
I
I
could
just
care,
don't care.
whatever. She's like, what do you think about a picture there? I'm like, do it. What do you think about these pastels? Do it. I don't care. I'm just happy
I'm the
to
same.
be with her.
I just don't. I don't care if I just like to have a couch to sit on, and I've had the same one for 7 years that I got.
Yeah.
And I just, a fuzzy blanket and some socks.
You and I
I'm a
are
happy
brother,
camper.
sister from another mother,
I still
man.
got some Colgate
Another
like
mister.
in the
Yep.
cap.
We
I'm gonna
are
take a
very
picture of it.
self-conscious about money.
Oh my gosh.
Brian's
Hey,
like, I got you some new toothpaste. I'm like, oh, no, I don't need it.
I love it.
I know we love this conversation, but we're going to have to wrap it up.
Love
We
you
have tons of great comments here on our Facebook page. Thank you so much
And a
for
love
participating. I hope you find love,
A love
at first sight this
connection.
weekend. If you do, let us know. Right?
Yes, then you said
Happy
it best.
Friday, and we will see you at the D-backs game. You guys rock.
Kim and I had a date night.